There was once lived a man named Joel, a simple husband and father of three. Life had not been kind to him. His days were heavy with worry, and his nights were filled with prayer that seemed to echo unanswered. Joseph worked hard, harder than most men he knew, yet nothing ever seemed to change. His crops failed, his debts grew, and his children often cried themselves to sleep from hunger. His wife tried to be strong, but there were days she couldn't hide her disappointment anymore. Her clothes were worn, her face tired, and her hope fading. Their small home stood at the edge of a quiet community. Not rich, not poor, just ordinary. But even among the ordinary people, Joel's poverty stood out. He went to church every Sunday, sat on the same wooden bench, and lifted his hands in prayer when others did. But deep inside, Joel was tired. He had fasted, prayed, and given his offerings faithfully, yet year after year nothing changed. And people noticed. The neighbors whispered. Some pitied him, others mocked. Joel prays too much for a man who has nothing, one man said. If his God really answers, wouldn't he have helped him by now? Another laughed. Joel tried to ignore them, but their words burned in his chest. He couldn't understand. Why did others prosper while he, who prayed the hardest, kept falling deeper into lack? There were nights when his frustration boiled over. He would sit outside, staring at the sky, and whisper, Lord, are you still there? Still, even in his confusion, Joel never stopped praying. He didn't know why, but he couldn't give up. Something in him refused to. Then one Sunday morning, as he sat quietly in church, the pastor preached a message that hit Joel's heart like thunder. There are times, the pastor said, when we pray and fast, but nothing happens. Not because God has forgotten us, but because we have never asked Him why. Sometimes your battle is not in the present, but in the past. When everything has failed, go before God and say, Lord, reveal the cause. That night, Joel couldn't sleep. The words kept replaying in his mind. Ask God why. So he knelt down beside his bed, trembling, and prayed a different kind of prayer. Not one for money or food or blessings, but for understanding. Lord, he whispered through tears, I've done everything I know. I've fasted, I've prayed, I've waited. Please show me why my life is like this. He prayed until his strength left him. Then, as silence filled the room, the presence of God fell upon him. His heart pounded, his eyes filled with tears, and in a moment of divine clarity, he saw a vision, a chain wrapped around his family's name. A quiet voice spoke to him, Joel, this is not just your battle. This is a curse that has walked through your bloodline for generations, but it will break if you obey me. Fast for 2 days without food or water, and I will set you free. When morning came, Joel told his wife. She looked at him, uncertain but said nothing. He began his fast. The first day was hard. His stomach ached, his lips were dry, and his body weak, but his spirit burned with determination. On the second night, as he knelt down for the last time, he saw a vision, a massive chain snapping into pieces, scattering into dust. Then he heard the same voice again. It is done. When Joel opened his eyes, peace filled his heart like never before. He didn't know how, but he knew that something had changed in the spirit. And indeed, from that day, everything began to turn around. 2 weeks later, Joel received a call from a company he had applied 2 years ago, one he had even forgotten about. They told him there was an opening for a managerial position, and they wanted him immediately. Within a month, Joel had moved his family into a beautiful house, one that a family friend, touched by his story, had offered him at no cost. Soon after, he bought his first car, something he had never even dreamed possible. His wife, who once wept at night, now smiled from morning to evening. His children, once hungry, ran around the house laughing. At the same neighbors who mocked him whispered again, this time in awe, the God of Joel has done wonders.